Don't just live for tomorrow, or just live in yesterday. Just be glad for all you have that's in today.
Hey everyone, Connie here, and welcome to my blind reaction to OKKO Let's Be Heroes, episodes 12 and 13. So before we get started here, I do want to mention real quick that I still have a cough. If you remember last week, like, I believe back on Monday last week, actually, I actually took a few days off because I was sick. And I think I might have caught something at the Renaissance Festival I went to that weekend, the weekend before. Yeah. Not this past weekend, the weekend before that. And I've been keeping it at bay. It's not like gotten like too bad, but in the past day or two, the cough has gotten a lot worse. But only the cough. Like, the sore throat has actually gotten better, funny enough, but the cough itself has gotten worse. And based on experience, like from past colds and stuff, whenever the cough starts getting worse but all the other symptoms go away, that usually means it's near the end of the sickness. From past experience, that's how it usually goes. The cough just has this, like, it tries to hold on to you at the very end, you know? But I did just want to let you guys know, because while it's not going to stop me from doing any more recordings, at least for now, hopefully it doesn't get too much worse at this point, it is going to be prominent in the recordings. You're going to notice it. Unfortunately, there's not really anything I can do about it. There's not really anything that's possible to do about it at this point besides continue to try and get rid of it the ways I have been. Cough drops, water, rest, bouillon, or broth if you prefer. Just that kind of stuff. Hot tea. You know, the various kind of things that they like tell you to have. And of course, there's the more natural remedy examples, using turmeric and garlic and ginger and stuff like that. So yeah, I'm on my way. I'm well on the way to getting it taken care of. And hopefully it'll be gone by the end of the week altogether. But as for now, we are getting to OKKO Let's Be Heroes. So the last episode we left off on, episode 11, kind of gave me pause. Because if you remember, it kind of almost made Enid out to be the bad guy of the episode. And I explained it well back then, but let me explain it again here, just as a reminder, since it's been a couple weeks since we've got to know OKKO. If you remember, Wallace Shawn guest starred in the episode, and he played this wizard. He was just angry that Enid was ignoring him in favor of showing KO this trick. So he cursed her and turned her into a statue. And in the end, she basically got back at him after KO was chasing him because he was trying to steal the statuified Enid. KO was chasing him, she got turned back to normal, and she basically took it out on him, terrifying him and threatening him. Now, I'm not saying that what the wizard did was right, because he definitely over-exaggerated everything and went too far. But what Enid did was wrong, too. Here's the thing. If you're working at any place, no matter what it is, and a customer comes up to you, and they're wanting to buy something, they have a question, etc., you handle it. You give them your full undivided attention and you handle it. Even if you don't know the answer to their question, you refer them to someone who can. You refer them to someone who can. You never just ignore them, even if you're in the middle of something. For example, I used to work at Wendy's back 5 years ago now. 5 years ago, I worked at Wendy's, the only quote unquote real job I've had. Um, and when I worked at Wendy's, I not only would be in the back putting down meat on the grill, chicken nuggets and fries in the fryer, stuff like that. I would also like go around. I would sweep and mop the lobby. I would take trash out to the dumpster, stuff like that. I would refill the straws and the condiments. The various things, especially during the low times when we didn't have too much to do in terms of making food. Um, so, because of that, I would often end up communicating with customers during those times. And again, not like a whole bunch of them at once. Usually just one or two, maybe a shift, if that. And it wasn't even every shift. Um, but it's like sometimes they'd ask me a question about something, and I'd refer if I didn't know, I'd refer them to the manager or to one of the other employees. If I did know, I'd tell them, and I'd stop what I was doing. If I was in the middle of doing the trash, I would stop right where I was and let them know. The only exception would be like if I was carrying trash that might have some liquid in it, and I really needed to get it out of the lobby quickly because it might be dripping. Like I'd tell them I'd be right back to help them, or I'd tell them like that I'd explain to them why I need to take care of this now, and I would suggest they head up to the counter and ask there basically. But I would always give them my attention. I would always hear them out, and I would always give them something, either an answer myself or let them know where they can get an answer, basically. And that's what you need to do. The problem is Enid was flat out ignoring him. Like, he was trying to make his purchase, and she was flat out ignoring him. You don't do that in any kind of customer service-based profession. And Enid has been shown to be this kind of laid-back type of character in the past. She's shown to be, like, on the verge, I would say, of being really lazy, but I wouldn't say she actually is really lazy. She's just kind of floating there at the edge of that. There are points where she definitely shows laziness, but she mostly does do her job. But here, in last week's 2 weeks ago, in the last episode, she didn't. She was not doing her job, and honestly, she was in the wrong. And again, yes, the wizard was definitely in the wrong too for turning her into stone and trying to kidnap her. Definitely in the wrong. But in the end, the problem with the episode was that it made Enid out to be completely in the right. It made her out to be like she was the victim, and that she was not even needing to apologize to him for what she did. And that he was just completely in the wrong to even be upset by it. It never once, like, tried to say that she was in the wrong for what she had done. And I've seen other shows and movies and stuff do this as well. One big example that I just automatically think of is the episode Ghostbusters from the first season of My Little Pony Friendship is Magic. The episode where Trixie is introduced, and she's doing nothing wrong. She's performing a stage show. And the main six basically decide to harass her because they see her doing her job as somehow being indicative of overly bragging. Which, I mean, yes, she was bragging, but for a stage magician, you need to do that. It's literally part of the job. And they just start harassing her and eventually basically chase her out of town in the end. Like, I mean, she kind of leaves of her own accord after the entire Ursa Minor incident, but all of that was brought on by their harassment of her. If they hadn't been harassing her and everything, Snips and Snails wouldn't have had to try to get her to prove herself by bringing the Ursa Minor there. And yeah, It made Trixie out to be bad, even though she really didn't do anything wrong. And it made the main six out to be the good guys and to be right in what they were doing, even though what they were doing was terrible. And that's why it kind of makes me think of that episode last week and why it was just so bothersome to me. Now I enjoy this show. I very much enjoy OKKO, but I don't expect every episode to be perfect, and I do expect there to be issues here and there. I expect that the show will have problems like this with its morals, its lessons, and its ideas. That's just going to happen. Steven Universe has had some issues here and there, of course. Every show really does. Gravity Falls isn't perfect. Legend of Korra, my favorite show of all time, is not perfect. They all have these issues, but it's how the show works past the issues as well. And I'm hoping that OKKO, with these next 2 episodes and just the future of the show in general, works past these issues. Now, I'm going to tell you right away, I know that this show is did a crossover, or is going to be doing a crossover soon, with a few other shows, including the newer Ben 10 series, Teen Titans Go, and Steven Universe. In fact, I think it's just those 4. OKKO, Steven Universe, Teen Titans Go, and the new Ben 10. My plans as of right now are that even when I get to that, I don't know if I'm going to watch that, because of how much I despise Teen Titans Go and the new Ben 10. It depends. It depends. I mean, I'm going to end up reacting to the Teen Titans Go movie, because of Matthew Vasquez donating Chrono Trigger to me for the streams. Yeah. If you didn't know, if you don't watch the live streams, yeah, I will be reacting to the Teen Titans Go movie sometime in the future. And it's because Matthew Vasquez, one of my subscribers and live stream viewers and stuff, he donated Chrono Trigger to me for the live streams, and so yeah, he got to choose as part of the mega stream event that I just had this past Friday. So yeah, he got to choose something for me to react to, and that was his choice. He actually donated another game, so there's another thing that I'm reacting to for him, but we'll get to that when we get to that. Either way. Yeah, I'm just I just really hope this show continues to be more good than bad. I want to love it. I want it to really start to get amazing. You know what I mean? Like, this show is made by Ian James Quarterly, one of the guys who works on Steven Universe. I have a high hope in that, because Steven Universe started off pretty weak too, if you think about it. The first season of Steven Universe wasn't that great. A lot of the episodes were just kind of really weak. And a lot of it was really weird and random, and yeah, you get the idea. But Steven Universe ended up becoming something phenomenal, and I'm hoping OKKO does the same thing once it starts really getting into like a main story. But we'll see when and if that happens. In the meantime, we're going to get on with these 2 episodes because I've been talking for long enough. So when the screen fades to black, pause this redirect and go to the description below. Follow the link to the reaction, and after you watch it, come back here to the redirect and resume play. Because after it fades to black and then fades back in, everything from that point forward will be my afterthoughts and will contain spoilers to the episode. So that being said, or episodes. That being said, thank you all so much for tuning in today. Once again, if I'm coughing at any point during this, it's been surprisingly held back during these pre-thoughts, but if I'm coughing, it is because I am still getting over this sickness, so I apologize. But thank you all for watching. I'll see you all. And I'm so scatter-minded right now. I can't speak. I can't think, and I'm forgetting to segment this right. I will see you at the reaction. And we are back, and we'll begin with spoilers in 3, 2, 1, now. Okay, so, it's 2 good episodes here. Definitely came back strong after the last one. So our first episode here, KO is given, well, Rad gives KO his name tag because he's got a half day and everything. And KO starts to pretend to be Rad. He finds out a lot about his life and finds out that Rad is actually a lot more two-dimensional, or three-dimensional even, than he lets on. He's not just the one-dimensional type of strong, badass, cool guy he pretends to be. He babysits, he helps people out, he likes cats, and it's nice to see that they're actually giving some development and depth to him. He is more than just that one-dimensional character that honestly even us as viewers would have seen him as up to this point. And our second episode here, episode 13, actually gave us some continuity with the cat thing, with the cats in the pocket. But he is still a moron, and he thinks that KO stole his identity. So he challenges KO, not even realizing it's KO, by the way. He challenges him to these challenges to prove who's the better Rad, and somehow KO is winning despite doing like pretty much nothing to win, which is the joke. I get it, but it's like, really? Are you that dumb, Rad? Then there's the last challenge, which is kind of this rat battle. And KO unintentionally embarrasses Rad. He's actually trying to help and trying to show that this kind of stuff is actually pretty cool. But Rad comes out with this actually really deep response to that, saying that Rad doesn't see that as cool, or rather that he doesn't want others to know about it. And it's basically saying that it's something he keeps to himself for now, that he doesn't just tell people about, because while he likes to do it, he has this kind of image he's set up for himself that he's afraid of what people will think of him if they see that he's not always this big tough guy, that he has this sensitive side to him. He's afraid of what people will think. That's really cool. I like that. I like it when we can see these characters who put up this strong front to them show some sincerity. I liked it in Steven Universe with Lars, who's become an amazing character. But seeing him show sincerity every now and again, especially when it comes to Sadie, and then eventually when it came to cooking, like, it was so good for his character. And I think this is going to help Rad in much the same way. The second episode here was more about KO learning a lesson, which I feel is going to be quite a few episodes of this show, even going forward, and it has been so far. But so KO is told by his mom that he has to be okay with being the size he is, that he shouldn't always try to, like, envy, basically, those who are bigger than him. But he doesn't really take the advice, and Rad kind of introduces him to this candy bar that apparently can make him grow. He eats too many of them and gets to be this giant of a being, but it ends up being hard for him. It ends up basically costing him his job, even. So he's starting to show that some regret in it, but he also shows that he's not ready to give up, because he feels like when he was his normal size, he was too small to really make a difference, to really do anything, to be the kind of hero he dreamed of being. And this one kind of hit me as well, just like the last one with Rad and him actually showing some sensitivity and being willing to take a step back. This one shows KO also having these kinds of insecurities. While Rad is more insecure about how his image is projected towards others, KO is more insecure about his image projected toward himself. He views it as, like, what good am I if I'm just this small person? How am I going to be able to help people? How am I going to be able to become the best hero I can be if all I am is small? All these other great heroes are big. and he feels so insecure and insignificant in comparison. And that's wonderful. I love this kind of character development. And it's done in a way where it's not super, like, in your face about it either. It keeps it more subtle and held back, and it's definitely there. It's super obviously there. But at the same time, like I said, they don't throw it in your face, and they kind of mask it a little bit with some comedy and lightheartedness, which I actually think is a fine way to do it. A lot of people might think, no, you have to take this kind of stuff seriously. And it's like, sure, the viewers should be taking these kind of character developments and insecurities seriously, especially those viewers who have these kinds of insecurities. But to showcase it in this kind of way allows it to reach a wider audience. It allows the kids who are watching this show, who are the target demographic, to not lose interest in something that might seem to go over their heads. While it allows the adults and the just older people in general who are watching it to get the message more clearly and allow them to connect with it in a meaningful way while still just having some harmless fun. I think it's really important to do both of those, to have both aspects of that in the same show. Steven Universe does that too. Like, it has the cute and the funny and the childish stuff mixed in there. Even though more recently in the seasons of Steven Universe, it's definitely gotten a lot darker and more just generally serious. But it still has the goofy, fun, silly moments just mixed in there as well. It continues to try and balance things out, is what I'm saying. But I just like the way it was handled here. Both episodes, both with Rad and his insecurities about his self-image projected towards others, and KO with his self-image projected onto himself. Because it shows that both of these characters have these insecurities. They have these self-image issues, and they want to be able to, in Rad's case, seem cool and seem popular and be the kind of person that others can look up to, in a way. He almost kind of wants to be seen as this cool big brother figure, not just to KO, but to everyone. He wants people to be able to look up to him so he can be there for him. I kind of feel like Rad is that kind of way. He tries to act like, oh, I'm tough, I'm macho, I have this machismo oozing out of me. No, he tries to act like that. He tries to act like, well, like it would be if a person was putting up a front. He's putting up a front, he's trying to be all tough and macho and everything, but in reality, he's hiding a sensitive side, and he's hiding, I think that he likes to just be there to help people. I mean, we saw that he's babysitting these kids and stuff, doing these things for people, and it's like, we see there's definitely a lot more to him, that he definitely embodies more of the true hero aspect of being there for others. But again, he does try to hide it behind a facade. KO, meanwhile, is not hiding that at all. That's basically his life's purpose, helping others and being the best person he can be. But he has these aspirations of being a hero, and the problem is that he's very easily influenced by the actions and beliefs of others. So when he sees that other heroes are, these big heroes are, well, big, it makes him think that, oh, I can't be a hero, I can't really contribute to this dream that I have unless I'm big like them. And it's like, that's deep. That's wonderful to have that kind of thought. I mean, I don't think he's right to think like that. He definitely should have faith in himself, being the size he is. But still, it's like, that's a perfectly reasonable thought to have, and it's great to see that kind of development in character given to him. Now we just need this to happen for Enid as well, and after episode 11, we definitely need some really good development for Enid. We don't want to make her out to be a villain again. Yeah. I really do like Enid. I want to like her even more, but it's like, we got to do something more with her at this point, I feel. We have to definitely bring more depth to her, and I do truly feel like they will. I just don't know when, but I hope it's soon. Um, I also want to see some more development with Gar and his relationship with Carol. He definitely has a crush on her that goes back many, many years, and I want to see like the exact reasonings for that. Like, did they used to date? Were they like, did they grow up together as friends, and he developed feelings for her and just kind of held them in this entire time? I want to know more about all of this. I am legitimately curious. Um, because it could very well help develop both Gar and Carol in a meaningful way, if done right. And I think this show could easily do it right. Um, Either way, today's two episodes, this week's episodes, were pretty darn great. They weren't like the best episodes or anything. They weren't like super amazing or like the best things ever written. But I love them. I really enjoyed the depth they gave to our characters, and I feel like this is the kind of stuff I want to see more of in this show, especially in the early stages of the show when it's still trying to find its footing. So tell me in the comments below what you thought of these episodes of OKKO Let's Be Heroes. Did you find as much meaning and depth in the storytelling as I did? Or did you find it just a lot more just generally fun? Or do you have any other thoughts on it? And then I have something on my shirt. I get distracted easily, sorry. Either way, tell me your thoughts on all of that and more in the comments below, and thank you so much for tuning in. For now, I'm Connie, and I'm signing off. See y'all next time.
And though you've come through many obstacles, shed tears along the way, you're still standing, live, love, laugh.